Welcome to Lockie Creations, where I feature my fabulous crafty life. Hello, friends, and welcome back to Lockie Creations. So I am finally giving you my 2023 journal flip through. At this point, this is my 1-year journalversary of me really engaging back into my journaling process. I've always been a journaler all my life, but in 2023, at the beginning of the year, I started to really get back engaged with journaling and more creative journaling. So this is me starting to show you kind of what I did to incorporate journaling back into my life, just to be a tool mainly for self-care. So in this video, I'm going to show you what I did. So the first 6 months of the year, I used this journal, which I created this custom book cover from the book novel A Trader's Ruin by Aaron Beatty. And you can see it's pretty plump. So I did do a lot of journaling. Now, I will say my style in the beginning of the year was very, very carefree. It was more of a writing journal, junk journal. I did not have a specific rhyme or reason because this journal was a self-care tool. So I used a lot of little pictures that I printed out of my HP Sprocket. I put little cards and affirmations to myself. I wrote myself little notes, and if it was anything that I was kind of private, I would just write private on it. But again, nothing so private that it would not be able to be shared if somebody picked this up. So I did a lot of just trying different methods and techniques out. Again, I put photographs. I wrote myself notes. I used pictures. A particular song that was coming to mind, I would write down the lyrics to that song. I really did not have any kind of rhyme or reason to what I did. Okay, I use these little calendars for my covers. For February, I just punched some hearts out and stitched them on my page with some sequins. Here I use some stamping, some stenciling. I would write different notes to myself. So for February, Valentine's Day, I added that little card with pictures. I added these little affirmations from different affirmation books. I even used envelope that was in a Valentine's card that I wrote to myself and wrote myself a little love letter on the back of that envelope. I did some kind of attempt at doing some junk journaling here. I would write little notes using little index cards to myself and stickers. So again, my first few months of the year was just carefree. I didn't have any structure, any type of specific type of journaling style. I used a lot of sticker books and got a lot of quotes and affirmations, a lot of scriptures, a lot of those kind of things. I used washi tape. So again, a more carefree, laid back type of style. I used some Happy Planner different types of sheets. I was just kind of learning what I liked. Here I made this little pocket and on index cards, wrote myself little messages and stuck in there. Here's my attempt to do some white on white planning motif. Again, this particular day we went to a restaurant. I like kind of what I did here. I attempted to do a little shaker card, and here was Strawberry Festival, and I wrote myself a little note. I started to use these little cards that if I wanted to do more journaling, I would put them in here. I used some stencils, again, another little private note, a lot of writing pages because as I was going through things, I had a lot of life events happening within the year that I needed to write and decompress. So you'll see a lot of writing in my journal. You'll see a lot of these affirmation books. The more that we got into I'd say closer to the middle of the year, life really started to changing, which is one reason why I've recorded this video now 5 times because it's quite highly personal. So I had a lot of things that were happening, and so I was using a lot of scriptures and songs that needed to bring me joy. You see, I had some trackers there, words of the week, sleep trackers. This particular, I did a video on this one, how I did this tracker, and it kind of gave me a revelation of things that were I needed to focus on. So a lot of I was just experimenting with a lot of stencils. There's again no real rhyme or reason to the first part of my year. Okay, so then we kind of get into the springtime, and I have pictures of my rabbit, and yeah, we're not going to talk about that one. We're going to skip right over that try and love thing. Anyway, Easter. We're leading up to Easter. Easter, I use this pack of just regular notebook paper, but in these bright colors, and some stickers that I got from Hobby Lobby. Just writing different things down, random. I was practicing handwriting here a lot. Here's my daughter's induction to her sorority. Wrote about that. Just writing about general things. Now, I had a lot of personal life events happening. My father became pretty ill at this point, and this is the point to where we got some news about his condition being terminal. So there are some very personal things that were happening, and so I used a lot of scriptures that were needing to just bring me some kind of comfort and clarity of all the situations that I was dealing with. So a lot of this is kind of highly personal, which you see a lot of these notes that are covered up just because this was my true journal. So a lot of writing, random things. As I went to hospitals, I would, keep the little hospital tags, and I would even put them here in my book. I used a lot of different colored pencils. I didn't do a lot of decorating because I was going through life changes here. So, yeah, just random doodling here. I was practicing drawing flowers. These things, a lot of these things, I was either sitting in doctor's offices or sitting in treatment centers with my father as I did a lot of this stuff. So very random. This was stuff that helped me kind of just get through what I was dealing with my father's declining health, and um, what will come. Okay, getting into the summertime a little bit, I was trying to kind of have some type of a decent summer and laugh. Yeah, this is where it's getting really, really personal. I even have, hospital visits. I put some of the visits to the hospital, those little tags, and yeah, I was really going through it here. So there would be a specific song that was resonating with me, a gospel song, and I would write down the lyrics to that. So this is up until June, into June. Okay, so this is a cover that I use for July. My father passed away. I had made this cover kind of prior to that. But this book from this point on is dedicated in memory to my loving father there, who I lost in the middle of the year. And I remember in the beginning of the year when I watched Amy Tangerine do her video and her father had passed away. And I remember even then at the beginning of that year saying, wow, will this be me this year? And here we go. Here we go. Okay, so yes, this is definitely dedicated to my father. So during the time my father was ill, I had these little journals that I kept with me, random notebooks that I wrote things down. So I just made this little pocket to add all of that, what I was going through leading up to the days of his passing and the weeks prior to his passing, and just put all that in this pocket. So later on, here's my father's car that we decided what we were going to do with. So I wrote about that and added a picture. I tried to get creative by just ripping that page and outlining that in that green color. Yep. Again, there was a lot of grief happening at this time. So, but ironically, in my journal, this is where I realized I need a little bit of structure, because I was all over the place for the first 6 months, and I had this significant life event that happened. So here's where I kind of got a little bit more structure in my journal, where I started to kind of at least try different styles of maybe let's having boxes for specific days. So you can kind of see I'm evolving into something a little bit more structured. This particular week, I remember this day, my Chipotle my DoorDash delivery couldn't make it to me. So I was upset about that. It was storming. It flooded. Here, I went to women's ministry. That gave me some upliftedness. I was processing grief here. I went to church, and this particular scripture on that Sunday resonated with me. So I was starting to just, kind of have a common place to capture these memories. And this is kind of where it kind of became a little bit more structured for me. I used a lot of my little thermal black and white printer, like where I printed the scriptures. And okay, this week, again, I have some structured boxes here. It's not a lot of decoration happening, but at least I was trying to be somewhat structured. Then this next page is just me randomly doodling again, the things that I do when I'm just kind of stressed. Okay, so leading up into this point, I was stressed out the end of July again, grieving. So this page was my big splurge at the Chanel store. Grief will have you do some very, very interesting things. And yeah, I dropped a lot of money on some earrings in the Chanel store. So I wrote about that. Yeah, definitely that was a grief purchase for sure. But again, just starting to trying to get a little bit more creative and decorative here in my journaling. Okay. So then my August came, and so if it wasn't bad enough, I was grieving the death of my father. I had some other significant events happen that just were life changing. I'll just say it that way. So you see me writing a lot of these quotes and getting through, like, punch this day in the face, and just really, really trying to deal with other situations that were the aftermath of significant life events happening. So I was writing about things and just trying to be okay. And this is also leading into getting closer to time for my daughter to go back to college to start her final year in college. So I had some crazy bad stuff happening, but at the same time, good things happening too. So I was very, very writing a lot of how my daughter was instrumental in cheering me up, her and my pet rabbits, and just they were my rock during all this process. So here is where you kind of see where I started this kind of unofficial weekly style. Okay. So, and then I realized I really like that. So let's try this little weekly style of having these structured boxes out even more. So here's the week where, okay, I'm trying, Lord, I'm trying to get back to some kind of sense of normalcy here, and still processing grief, but still trying to, be on my grind. So this is the week my daughter went back to college. And yeah, I got quite a workout in having to help her move back to college and all the things involved in being Mama Bear. So that was that week. Well, then, okay, here's yet another week. So again, you can see now I'm starting to get really structured. One good thing that happened out of this week is this is where I discovered that I actually like guacamole. So I did a little guacamole appreciation post there. My best friend had her birthday. We had pastor's anniversary there. So had some good stuff come out of this week. I realized I needed a lot more rest. So again, I was trying different things and starting to be, I guess, more creative in my journaling style here, I guess you would say. In here, okay, so yeah, I did that. So this is where I think this was probably one of my favorite spreads of the year. This lemon spread, life had gave me some lemons in 2023. And so I did this lemon theme. When life gives you lemons, you make lemon tarts. And so here I was trying to smile. I was getting out, trying to be a little bit more sociable, still processing grief, but trying to be sociable, trying to be a little bit more creative. So I had some good things happen throughout the year that I was, dealing with some. I had a new job position, pretty good promotion that I got. So I was dealing with, the struggle between having a new job and, this new position that I've been blessed to have. But did I have to get it right before my father passed away and right before he got sick? And I don't feel like wanting to be by my best self, but I need to be my best self. So I was dealing with a lot of that. So yes, this life giving you lemons and making lemon tarts out of it was definitely what I needed at the time. And this, I can say that this journal was such a a healing and therapeutic tool for me as I went through that significant life event, because I was extremely close to my father. And, it was just a very difficult year getting through and processing his death. So this journaling truly has been a journey. When I called it journaling journey, it really was. So here's another little flippy that I did, in this event. I'm like, okay, I'm putting on makeup today and I'm going to go to a birthday event. And I felt cute that day despite all the grief. So I did that little creative pocket and took some selfies. And again, these little pictures that I have printed out here, I used my HP Sprocket little 2x3 camera, and sometimes I would use the collage functions to just do even smaller size pictures. Okay, so here this week, again, kind of being more creative, we got a new this was just a recap. Actually, the page on the right was a recap of the month. So I was recapping some of the important things that happened during the month of August. And we got a new pet bunny. I documented that. I kind of like doing this recap page, actually. This is where the famous picture of our former president being booked that came out. So again, a significant life event. So I've captured it here in my journal. Just things that happened during the month that were noteworthy. So yeah, I was trying to be creative. Again, this week this was the week of the hurricane, where Hurricane Idalia. Yep. So I documented that. Have that picture on the left hand side talking about the Hurricane Idalia and kind of how we were affected by that. Thank you, Lord, that we were not directly affected by that. Okay, so here I'm doing some reflections here. That little box at the bottom, I was trying to do some gratitude and positive uplifting for myself. And so I wrote the word with the sticker love, and I wrote things around the word love that I loved about myself. And that was a very hard activity for me to do. It was harder than I realized it was going to be, because it's hard for me to gush over myself. I realized that, wow, that's kind of hard to do. But even in doing that exercise, that helped me realize that there's a lot about me to love and that I need to. Okay, next page, again, processing grief. That's going to be the theme of a lot of this. So that's why a lot of it's covered up, processing grief. Okay, now this is where my daughter's going back to college. So I got her a cake before she went back. Yep, went to go move her back. Oh, this was actually in the hotel, so I used some of those little leaf pages that were one of the little notepads in the hotel, and I actually pasted those in here. So I wrote those little notes on the hotel pad. Here, this quote was something that I had saw. That is a quote about just keeping yourself positive. So I write that in my book. Let's see what's happening here. This was a pet appreciation post about our bunny rabbit. So I wrote that. So here's some me writing, some venting stuff here. Okay, let's see what's happening on this week. This was a brain dump. I just did a brain dump of just random stuff. Again, sometimes these brain dumps are good, your mind is all over the place and you just need to get it out. So I did that brain dump. What's happening over here? Yeah, this is where it kind of gets okay, not really structured that much. So here is where I was kind of practicing my handwriting and doing some calligraphy. No real rhyme or reason into it. September, that's a very, very personal note that's happening over there, so that had to cover that up. Here's this Sunday, I kind of thought I would look cute going to church. Again, I had to try to get myself out of grief land. So I wrote myself a little note, and I put the program from church with the envelope in my journal. I just got the offering envelope because I tithe on Cash App. So I put the tithe envelope here. Okay, let's see. So here was a friend's birthday party. So I took some pictures of that event. So September, this is leading into my birthday month. So I had pre-decorated my September month in advance. I'm glad I did, because I kind of dropped off in September. So this first couple days of September, I did another one of these little peeky open up pockets and wrote myself a little note. I think I was at another birthday party there. And I used this kind of neat little layout here. So this week was a little bit more traditional. I do have a little note that I wrote to myself to vent. So you see that with that little paper clip there. But I like the way that I did this spread. I actually used the Empowering Women sticker set here from the Happy Planner. I think that was a Happy Planner one. And yeah, they have some of these empowering women quotes. So this week I was a little bit more structured. I did my horoscope this week. That song by Beyonce, Me, Myself, and I was resonated with me. Oh, this is where I did some of the Little Mermaid stickers too. And it's ironic that I put Little Mermaid stickers in here. And I did this and not knowing that the movie was getting ready to come out. Here I printed out the words of that song on this little thermal printer that you see me using here. I also use the hand lettering app just to change the font up and fancy it up. I do that quite frequently, and then I'll use, in conjunction with that hand lettering app, then I'll go into the Tiny Print app, save that as a picture, go into Tiny Print app, print it out on this little thermal printer here. I love that. That thing is the best investment that I could have made. So anyway, yep, this week was a little challenge. Okay, so more birthday leading up to my birthday. I was trying to decide what we were going to do for my birthday. And I think this was the week that the Little Mermaid movie actually came out. Ironically, the week that I did a Little Mermaid spread, and I did not know that movie was coming out. So that was purely coincidence. So that was pretty cool. I was writing about that. Oh, this is where... So yeah, I bought myself a new car this week. So a lot going on this week. I had a little situation happen with my daughter in college, and I'm like, I got to go buy myself a new car because I got to be able to get to my baby girl when she needs me. So I actually went the next day and went and bought a brand new car. Yes, I did. So that's a highlight of definitely early birthday present to myself. And so I'm writing about that and my new car that I bought. Yep, that was a week. Oh, this peacock. So yes, this peacock that came to visit all the time. I was writing about that and took a picture of that peacock because I at one point started calling him Daddy Bird because he showed up at my door. He was like trying to come in the house. And yeah, it was just so interesting how that happened. So anywho, just writing little notes to myself. Again, these weeks I started to get more structured in my journaling because I needed that structure. I needed something that felt like it was, that structure when your life is just, you got so much going on and you're grieving. Sometimes you are kind of resignating towards having structure. And I think that's why my journal turned out this way. Okay, so here I was going to a football game. So I did a lot of using my HB Sprocket and my little thermal printer there. Leading up to my birthday. Now it's my birthday. So you notice that it's decorated, but not a lot of writing. And the only reason why it's decorated because I did this in advance. When my birthday came, I kind of stopped journaling for a while. So you see, this is very minimal. And what's decorated is only because I decorated it early. And I can say that this is actually a good thing because I was actually up by the time September came. I was like, I need a break. I need fun. So I actually was out having fun. We went to Miami. We went to down to the Keys, and I have a video posted about that trip. But I was having fun. I attempted to do a tracker, but I didn't really fill it out because I was having fun. Here I was trying to be creative and insert like a little planner calendar here. I didn't do anything. Okay, this is where leading into October, the only real thing I did was we went on that Royal Caribbean cruise, which I have a video up for. I didn't do a lot of journaling in October, as you can see, at all. This was it. This was my poor attempt at doing some fall. I was sick a little bit toward the end of the month. I wrote about that. Yeah, not a lot going on in October, so you don't see that I journaled. So now I think this was up into November here. This was another sad moment because I was remembering my brother who passed away. So yeah, a lot 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 of grief in this book again. That's why it took me 5 times to record this. Let's see here, just documenting some things that happened, the weather, I was hangry. So here is where, yeah, I had been sick, and so I was trying to really change my diet and had lost some weight, and I was being hangry. So yeah, I had a lot going on at that point in time. But just one thing that I can say is, even though there were periods where I just had to do like writing like this, um, holidays, getting up to December, I really, I kept my journal. Okay, so here's December. Had a little bit of holiday blues in the beginning. Don't let it rain on my parade. Well, then we get into December. So I actually picked it back up in December. And so I have a video for this page. I'm like, okay, I'm going to end the year off strong. And I actually can say I had a pretty good December, despite, the grief and first Christmas without my dad and other life changes that had happened. We had a pretty good December. So my daughter's birthday, here's a birthday appreciation for her and some of the fun things that we did for her birthday. We went to Orlando, to Universal, and went to the spa. And yeah, we just had a lot of fun, did some shopping. So this was all about her and her birthday. And I got that quote in the middle there. Some days I don't know how I do it, but I get it done. And that was so true because, Lord, December was a financially draining month, but I got through it. So you can see I did some holiday decorating. Here is where I had bought some stickers from Etsy. And so I had went out and looked for, okay, let's get some theme stickers. So this is kind of where I had started to like, okay, I'm going to really like step up my game here. So really, I would say December, I think, are probably some of my better spreads for the year because it was just a little bit more structured. So I did a Grinch theme. Here's actually my Christmas Eve. And I had to do it, of course, behind the week because I don't like the weekly sometimes. I like to write stuff in between the week. And so if you're doing your back-to-back weeklies, you can't do that. So that's why Christmas Eve was behind Christmas. Okay, so there's a little Grinch theme. I was feeling Grinchy that day. Christmas Day, you see that on the right hand side, that PJs, that was that from a Victoria's Secret ad. I did not leave my PJs on Christmas, and it was awesome. I just stayed home and we chilled at the house and ate good food, watched Christmas movies, and so yep, I was writing all about that. I did get the holiday blues, of course, missing my parents. And so that little flip that you saw me just doing there, I was writing some notes and expressing some of those feelings. A prayer. The 26th was a rough day for me, and I just needed that little prayer and devotional here. I wrote a whole page on how I was feeling that day, and so I covered that up because that was highly personal. But I had a rough day on the 26th. Yeah, after Christmas blues. Okay, so then my final week of the month. This is my final week of the month. Again, I tried a different little layout, and I liked this. I like the way this turned out. I did a lot of writing in those boxes. Here I did a daily mood tracker, and I thought that was pretty cool. I like to incorporate that into more of my pages. But yeah, got everything that happened. Ulta, we went on a mini after Christmas before the New Year shopping spree, so I got that little Ulta, printed that out, and bought my daughter some J'adore perfume. And so yeah, we had a good after Christmas as well. And this page I was writing about that, like, I'm a great mom because I'm still buying Christmas presents after Christmas. Yep, doing a little mommy appreciation page to myself there. And this pretty much is how my 2023 journaling process went. I do have in the back here just some more final random things that I was writing about. Little affirmations to myself. I tried to do some little recaps of the year. And these were some videos that I had watched about, processing trauma and books that I wanted to read. So I actually had documented this stuff earlier in the year and just captured it in the back of my journal. So I just left that in there. But this is my year. So a lot of lessons learned for me. Some of the things that I really learned is that my style of journaling is whatever I need it to be. Sometimes it's gonna be a true catch-all. It's gonna be a planner. It's gonna be a journal. It's gonna be a little bit of everything. I learned that there are some favorite products that I have, which I've talked about: my HP Sprocket little 2x3 color printer, as well as my little thermal printer. I love those. I mean, I use those throughout my journal. Really love those tools. I know that the disc bound system is best for me, but I also learned that not all disc bound systems are the same, and the discs aren't even the same. So some lessons learned for me throughout the 1 year process of me journaling, or starting to really creatively journal. I did learn that I think I need a little bit more structure, because again, at the beginning of the year I was all over the place. Towards the end of the year I kind of found that structure, and kind of found my niche. So yeah, I learned that. Again, here I am. I broke one of my discs, so one of the things I learned is that I think I prefer the metal or aluminum discs better, because the plastic ones kind of suck a little bit. And so some of my journaling goals that I want to accomplish going forward: I want to get better at my hand lettering. Definitely practice my hand lettering styles. I want to make sure that that I just use my journal as a tool for my self-care. And again, had a hard year, so my journaling was all over the place. But the one thing I'm proud of myself is that I journaled. I accomplished what I set out to do, which was journal and have this be a self-care tool. And again, this process of journaling and documenting my life and what I was feeling at that time, those final moments with my father, meant everything to me throughout this year. So definitely 10 out of 10 would recommend everyone to have a journal, and buy yourself one of these little thermal printers. They are so good. I cannot talk enough about how that has been helpful to me. So yeah, I learned a lot this year. I think I grew a lot in my journaling experience, and I just look forward to what will come in the future, and just how my journaling experience will evolve. This is my favorite product of the year. These Dollar Tree dual 3D pens. Oh, I think I have about 10 packs of those. I originally found them maybe like middle of the year, and then I couldn't find them anymore. But then when they restocked them, I bought like, yeah, 8 more packs. I love those pens. Again, so goal is that I want to get better at hand lettering and calligraphy. So I featured this set that I got recently in my Ross and Amazon video haul. I found this one from Ross. I also got this little Dollar Tree erasable board to kind of help me practice my hand lettering. So you'll see how it evolves. I think I got pretty good handwriting overall, but I just want to even be more better with it. More better, if that's a proper term. So lessons learned is that use your journal, your planner, whatever you want to call it, for what you want to do. Yours does not have to look like anybody else's. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can go to the stores that are available to you, but just use it for what it's worth. Hope you like this. Please be blessed, like and subscribe, and stay tuned.